Monday has come and gone. Tuesday is here, and I'm here with another installment of the vlog, so to speak, the video blog. So, baseball is on the docket today. That's right, baseball. It's the off season, I know, but 2 trades went down. Actually, a bunch of trades went down today. However, 2 of them concern the Texas teams. First one is the Rangers were part of a trade where they lost Craig Gentry, and the Astros were part of a trade where they gained Dexter Fowler. Now, obviously, it's not the same trade, but they will both be discussed here. I'm going to start off with the Rangers, who traded Craig Gentry, as well as pitcher Josh Lindblom, I don't know, hopefully that's right, to Oakland, to the A's, which is an in-division trade, which is kind of rare these days, especially when you're trading starters. Just usually doesn't happen. However, Rangers did it. They traded Craig Gentry to the A's for Michael Choice and infielder Chris Bostic. Michael Choice is the most Major League ready. The Rangers believe that he might be Major League ready right now. They're looking at potentially having him as the starting left fielder, obviously with Leonis Martin in center and Alex Rios in right. Jury's still out on Nelson Cruz, whether he will come back or not, but the Rangers are preparing as if he won't, and if he does come back, then he will serve as the team's most likely DH. Maybe get some time in left with Choice, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. What the Rangers lose in Craig Gentry is a guy that's been there for the past few years. He's played an integral part on the team, maybe not necessarily as an everyday starter, but as a defensive replacement, as a pinch runner at the end of games, and as a fourth outfielder when Cruz has gone down or Murphy struggles or giving Leonis a day off against a tough lefty or something like that, Leonis Martin that is. Gentry has been an important part for the Rangers, but they already have a Craig Gentry, and his name is Leonis Martin. He plays center field, so Gentry and Martin both became expendable, and with Martin being the younger player, Gentry was the one the Rangers looked to deal. Michael Choice comes in, and he comes in with a lot more potential and a lot more power than does Gentry. With the addition of Prince Fielder, the Rangers look like they're trying to get back to the Rangers of old, who can just beat you just by crushing the ball out of the ballpark, something they really didn't necessarily have last year, especially after Cruz went down with the 50-game PED suspension. They just seemed to lose all power outside of Adrian Beltre, who's really their only consistent hitter last year and really didn't get enough MVP love. But when he started struggling, the offense just cratered. So the Rangers have added Prince Fielder this year to play first, and now they trade for Michael Choice, who is an interesting prospect. He was the number 2 prospect in the A's organization going into the 2013 season, and now he's a member of the Texas Rangers. Pacific Coast League All-Star was Sacramento last year in the AAA system of the Oakland Athletics. He hit .302 with 14 home runs and 89 RBIs in 132 games. 14 home runs is not a lot, but the 89 RBIs show that he can get it done when his team needs him to, and he has the power. I mean, he's a young kid. He's still only 24. Actually grew up in the Arlington area. Went to Mansfield Timberview High School, and went to school at the University of Texas in Arlington. So he's a homegrown kid. Maybe he comes here, feels more comfortable than playing in a hitter's ballpark in Arlington. Rangers also get an infielder in Class A ball. Probably won't be up for another couple years, so we'll have to wait and see on him. In Chris Bostic. So basically what the Rangers do is they trade speed and defense in Gentry for power and potential in Michael Choice, who he's still a little bit raw, but if he comes in and the Rangers are kind of able to work him in and not have to hit him fourth, which they won't have to, they can hit him lower in the lineup or higher in the lineup than that and not put too much pressure on him. You never know. Never know it could happen. So, good trade for both teams. As of right now, the Athletics look like they win the trade, just because no one is quite sure what they're going to get from Michael Choice. And it could end up in a couple years that Michael Choice turns into an all-star, and Rangers basically dealt a fourth outfielder for an all-star outfielder. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Now for the Houston Astros, a trade that really surprised a lot of Astros fans in acquiring center fielder Dexter Fowler from the Colorado Rockies for right-handed pitcher Jordan Lyles and outfielder Brandon Barnes. Brandon Barnes is best known for hitting for the cycle last year in a Astros loss. But hey, he hit for the cycle. That's pretty cool. Outside of that, maybe a fourth outfielder, not even fifth outfielder at best. But I mean, it's the Astros, so he was starting. And Jordan Lyles, a 23-year-old, really been a prospect for the last couple years for the Astros, but has not gotten it done in the majors. He finished 7-9 with a 5.59 ERA in 27 appearances last year with Houston. People have said that he was rushed up. It'll be interesting to see. He goes to a new environment now. Maybe he flourishes a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see just kind of what Jordan Lyles becomes in his time. In Colorado, it's interesting that he goes to such a hitter-friendly ballpark as Colorado. So we'll have to wait and see on Jordan Lyles. But for the Astros gaining Dexter Fowler, they gain a player that is a legitimate Major League Baseball player. A guy that they can put in the lineup and say, this guy deserves to be in the majors. And maybe not somebody you can build around, but somebody that is at least good at baseball. And the Astros didn't have a lot of those guys last year. They really are in the midst of one of the most, it's the legitimate meaning of rebuilding. I mean, they had guys out there that maybe didn't even belong in the majors, much less starting for an MLB team. And now they get Dexter Fowler, who's a bona fide starter in the majors. Proved it last year when he really had actually a very good year, had a great start, then got hurt and never really picked it back up in the second half like he did in the first half. All in all, last year he hit .263 with 12 home runs, 42 RBIs, and 19 steals. Not great numbers, but having watched him the past couple years, on and off, the talent is there. The talent is there, but it's a question of staying healthy, putting it all together, and really just being able to perform up to the level that he's capable of. He'll come in, he'll instantly be one of the 2 or 3 best hitters on the team. And it gives the Astros a little bit of credibility. Last year, it just seemed like they didn't care what happened in the Major League level. They are so bent on making sure that their farm system is built up, that by the time anybody got good, they were instantly on the trade block, and a lot of times they got traded. So seeing them bring in a guy that can bring some credibility, some legitimacy to the Astros team is a good thing. It will allow George Springer to move over to right field and Dexter Fowler to stay in center. The one question I have with this trade is why get so little for Fowler. But an issue becomes looking back the last 3 years, 2013, 2012, 2011, looking at his splits between home and away. He's from Colorado, so he plays in Coors Field. Everybody loves to hit in Coors Field. If you remember Preston Wilson, Astros fans, had a career year in, 2005, and then he came to Houston and was awful. Where did he play before Houston? Colorado. Coors Field. Balls fly out of the park in Coors Field. So, Astros fans are kind of hoping that it's not one of those, but you look at his splits, 2011 was fine. He actually hit better away from Coors than he did at Coors. He hit .245 at home and .286 on the road. So that's good. 2012, he hit .332 at home, but only .262 on the road. So away from Coors Field. .262 isn't necessarily bad, but it's not great. It's, I wouldn't say average. I'd say it's a little below average. Definitely below average for a guy like Fowler, who can really hit, can really run, and only had 12 steals that year. So you expect him to run a little bit more on the Astros, with the Astros, where the team will really be looking to manufacture runs rather than just being able to hit the ball out of the ballpark like the Rockies really can. 2013, very ominous. 311 at Coors, which is great, but 214 on the road. Something that he'll look to improve, something he hopes was just kind of a fluke. Maybe faced better pitching on the road than at home, or maybe his home games came as a result of injury. Or his away games came as a result, or after the injury. Excuse me. So Astros fans are kind of hoping those splits even themselves out a little bit, or maybe heck that 311 at home carries over. He hits 311 at home again with the Astros. I mean, that'd be great. But Minute Maid Park is a hitter's field, but it is not Coors. So it's interesting to see just how those splits will come into play, whether they remain something similar or if they change. So all in all, the Astros finally acquire some Major League talent instead of giving their Major League talent away to other teams. It will give them some legitimacy, give the other players a guy to look up to, other than Jose Altuve, which nobody looks up to, everybody looks down to because he's quote-unquote 5'5", but no one really knows how tall he is or how short he is. You look at the other guys in that lineup, I mean, you got Brett Wallace, who's really a minor leaguer, Matt Dominguez, first year in the majors, Jason Castro, second full year as a starter, J.D. Martinez, Brandon Barnes, Hose, whatever his B.J. Hose, I think was his first name. Plenty of guys that just were up there for the first year, just kind of showcasing what they have. And so now they have a guy in Fowler who can go up and really just be a legitimate MLB player and show the other players what it means to be a pro. And he's 27, so he's not exactly the veteran that you're maybe looking for to be the leader. But he's a professional baseball player, and he's shown that he belongs in the MLB, which is important and something this team doesn't necessarily have a lot of. So, a good trade for the Astros. It's going to be interesting to see if he's in their plans moving forward. I don't know that he is. By moving forward, I mean in the next couple years. The Astros, I'm sure, hope by 2015, 2016 to become competing for the no longer the NL Central, the AL West crown. So it'll be interesting to see at that time if Fowler is still on the team, but still a couple years from now. For now, the Astros have finally gotten themselves a legitimate player, which is good news and a far cry from what had been happening in Houston at Minute Maid Park under this new ownership of just Jeff Luhnow and owner Jim Crane. But I'm interested to see the direction. I like the direction they're going. It's just going to be a couple years. Astros fans know that. It's just been a very ugly last couple years, and will continue to stay that way for the next 2 years or so, perhaps. So, Fowler to the Astros, legitimate talent. They really lose Brandon Barnes and Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles, he may develop into something. He may develop into the guy that Astros fans hoped he would be. Top prospect coming out. When he came up to the majors, he was really a top prospect, but never panned out. Never really developed an out pitch. And as a right-handed pitcher, if you're only throwing 91, 92, you have to have that out pitch to get guys out, to finish them off, whether it be a curveball, cutter, slider, something that is your go-to pitch in tough situations. And Jordan Lyles never seemed to maybe figure that out. A lot of people say he was rushed up to the majors, that he was too young, wasn't quite ready for it. Maybe that's true, but it was his chance, and he didn't take advantage of it. So now he goes to Colorado, fresh start. It'll be interesting to see just what he does with the Rockies. So the Astros get Dexter Fowler, give up Jordan Lyles and Brandon Barnes. As of right now, it looks like the Astros won that trade. And for the Rangers, they give up Craig Gentry as well as Josh Lindblom, and receive Michael Choice, I believe. Yes, Michael Choice, and also a backup infielder. An A-ball infielder from Oakland. So that one's kind of up in the air. It really depends on what Choice develops into. So Astros win the trade, and on this day, it looks like the Athletics also won that trade as well. But we will have to wait and see. Baseball season is closer than you think. Pitchers and catchers report in February. So, speaking of pitchers and catchers, Joe Nathan is now going to sign with the Tigers, it seems. A.J. Pierzynski, if you missed it, has signed a 1-year deal with the Red Sox. And as of right now, it seems like Giovanni Soto might be the starter for the Rangers unless they go out and sign somebody. Jared Saltalamacchia was believed to be in the running for the team, but it seems like he is close to signing elsewhere. Perhaps they get JP Arancibia. Shin-Soo Choo has been rumored as a potential signee for the Rangers. I would assume that if they get him, then they're no longer going after Nelson Cruz, and they can DH Choice a lot more as he learns how to hit in the major league level, which is really why he was brought here, was for his power and his bat. Thank you again for listening. Once again, a big day in baseball. Other trades went down, but none as important to Rangers and Astros fans as the two that have been mentioned here today.